And Metaverse is still new and it's so broad. And obviously, there are a lot of companies trying to do proprietary solutions out there, but it's not gonna. I think this is going to require a lot bigger efforts. So I would encourage you guys to start looking into it and participate. And this is going to be the metaverse for all of us, not just, it cannot be dominated by one company. So with that, I'd like to talk about monetization, commercialization. And so who is going to be the number one vendor is who is going to commercialize metaverse is the metaverse service providers, right? So these are the guys who are going to create metaverse services, and they're going to need a cloud to run on. So either they're going to build a metaverse purpose cloud, with a private cloud, extremely large, metaverse private cloud, or they might rely on public clouds out there, because public clouds are very attracted to them because obviously they have a massive amount of compute, network and storage, and then this is not their first rodeo. They have been, selling digital services, gaming, that kind of stuff on their cloud, and then most importantly, they have the global outreach, because metaverse services need to run on global scale. It cannot be just run on one region. It needs to run on multiple regions. Otherwise, it's not going to be called metaverse. It's going to be called meta region, right? So you need to have that global scale. So public cloud service providers are definitely going to play a big part in the metaverse endeavor. And and metaverse service providers might also choose to run a hybrid cloud and enabled by both private clouds and public cloud. So as you can see this chart, if you can see it, like obviously the big hyperscalers, they have been investing in the metaverse for quite a while at various layers of the technology stack, the display layer, application layer, platform layer, and infrastructure layer, which includes networking as well. You see Google, Microsoft, Amazon in China, BAT, Baidu, Alibaba, Tencent, they all have been putting a ton of investments up and down the technology stacks. And how do they, how do they monetize? Obviously, they can monetize their resources, lots of compute, lots of network, lots of storage to run simulations and, AI and that kind of stuff. And also, once they have the metaverse services running on their cloud, they have content, so they can monetize content. And then once they have content, they can monetize add-on services based on the content they acquired in the metaverse world. So there's a lot of opportunities for the cloud service providers. So in order for a cloud service provider, earlier you heard from Wenjing, the current cloud infrastructure out there, especially the open source one, cannot meet the requirements of the metaverse. I mean, this chart you'll see probably from far away, you can see this is a report by Cornell University, and they did a study on the communication requirements of services in the metaverse in terms of reliability, latency, data rate, connection density. I mean, you can see these are like very stringent requirements, and the open source cloud platforms out there today cannot meet this requirement. It's very obvious. So the cloud infrastructure needs to, if not redesigned, but definitely has to be extensively enhanced in order to support, the workloads such as simulations, 3D immersive experience, spatial web, digital twins, lots of AIs, blockchain, and then metaverse when it's mature, enterprises will have to move there. And it's just like, for a long time, I refused to buy things on the internet. I don't think it's safe. But now, Amazon shopping is one of my biggest hobbies, right? So enterprises, eventually, they'll have to adopt metaverse way of doing things. So it's going to change their relationship with their customers, their partners, and their employees. So all these very immersive simulation, highly simulation kind of, workload services and workloads going to require a highly scalable cloud platform, highly performing with low latency, and also it needs to support edge. As you heard throughout the day, edge computing is so important in the world of the metaverse, and it needs to support distributed architecture. Like I said, it cannot just run in one region, it needs to run across regions, and most importantly, it needs to support AI, right? Because obviously AI plays a huge part in the metaverse. And then also, very important, it needs to support modern way of developing application services. That means it's serverless, it's cloud native. So with that, I'd like to just briefly talk about the Centaurus project, so close to 2 years ago, we see Future Way, our team, we see the coming of the 5G and AI world, and that's going to bring us a very demanding application services. It's going to require highly scalable, highly performing with low latency kind of cloud platform. So last year when Metaverse emerged, and we realized that Metaverse is actually a really good use case for the Centaurus project. So that's why we're having this discussion with you today. And with that, I'd like to introduce the project leader of the Centaurus project, project manager of the Centaurus project, Anni. She's going to get into more details about the Centaurus project. Anni.